I am Loki, of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie characters with main character syndrome.
I am the king. I can do whatever I want.
If you were half the king Mufasa was, you
I'm 10 times the king Mufasa was.
For this list, we'll be looking at our favourite self-absorbed film characters who are just looking out for number one. Watch out for spoilers and let us know if we missed any of your faves in the comments below. Number 10, Gilderoy Lockhart, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Let me introduce you to your new defense against the dark arts teacher. Me. Gilderoy Lockhart.
It's not called Gilderoy Lockhart and the Chamber of Secrets, but you'd be forgiven for thinking that was the name of the second installment in the Harry Potter franchise. Professor Lockhart comes in to take over the Defense Against the Dark Arts teaching position and makes a huge splash. Instead of actually teaching his students, he spends class waxing poetic about his various exploits and adventures.
To train you all up, in case you ever need to defend yourselves, as I myself have done on countless occasions. For full details, see my published work.
Oh, and we later learn they're pretty much all made up. It's probably not all his fault he's that self-involved. When you get that much fan mail, it's bound to go a bit to your head.
Fame is a fickle friend, Harry. Celebrity is as celebrity does. Remember that.
But honestly, maybe it's not such a bad thing he lost his memory. It's like a fresh start. Number 9, Commodus, Gladiator. In the movie Gladiator, Maximus is everyone's favourite guy.
There's no one left to fight, sir.
There is always someone left to fight. How can I reward Rome's greatest general?
His men love him, Emperor Marcus Aurelius loves him, and all the people of Rome love him. But there's one guy who doesn't love him, and in fact, wishes he could be the star of the show. And that's Commodus.
You would fight me?
Why not? Do you think I'm afraid?
I think you've been afraid all your life.
When your own emperor father passes you up an option for success and picks Maximus, that's bound to give you a bit of a complex. Besides that, Commodus has absolutely no use for anyone and no cares about anyone else's problems but his own.
Why is he still alive?
I don't know.
He shouldn't be alive. It vexes me. I'm terribly vexed.
It's probably part of what leads to his demise. Number 8, Gil Pender, Midnight in Paris.
I'd hardly call this picture marvelous. It's more of a petite bourgeois statement on how Pablo Caesar saw her. He's distracted by the fact that she was an absolute volcano in the sack.
In all honesty, we could have put the main characters in most Woody Allen movies on this list, but none are as bad an offender as Gil Pender in Midnight in Paris. With the number of famous characters in this movie, you'd think Gil would be able to get a hold of himself.
They'd trade Belle Epoque to be painting alongside Titian and Michelangelo. And those guys probably imagine life was a lot better when Kubla Khan was around. I'm having an insight.
When Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald are around, you're probably not the smartest or most interesting person in the room. Yet Gil spends the entirety of the movie lamenting his inability to finish writing a novel while simultaneously acting like everyone around him is an idiot, including his fiancée.
This is where Monet lived and painted. We're 30 minutes from town. Imagine the two of us settling here. We could do it. I mean, if my book turns out.
You're in love with a fantasy.
Number 7, Frances Halliday, Frances Ha.
Like how they say that other dimensions exist all around us, but we don't have the ability to perceive them. That's what I want.
It's that age-old tale of the girl who wants to stay young forever. Frances Halliday is a 20-something-year-old woman living in New York City, content to not have to deal with real adult problems for as long as humanly possible. When her best friend tells her that she's moving out, the reveal causes a chain of events that forces Frances to grow up.
I just wanted to get out of the city, and I knew the director of this summer program, so she hooked it up. They had room and board. I'm working the events to make more money. You're super responsible. No, I'm not.
Though she definitely has a satisfying arc throughout the movie, she also lives in a world where nothing matters except her. When faced with change, she begins to freak out.
Come at me.
No.
Okay, well then I'll just...
Oh my God, stop it! Damn it!
Oh, sorry, you have to, like, fight back.
Stop it! I said stop!
She's one of the more relatable characters we'll see on this list, but with major main character energy no less. Number 6, Vizzini, the Princess Bride.
And you're no match for my brains.
You're that smart.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
Now, here's a guy who loves being the center of attention. The Princess Bride is memorable for quite a few reasons, but one of the biggest ones is Wallace Shawn's performance as Vizzini. The Sicilian leads a small crew of thieves who are hired to take Princess Buttercup and start a war.
I'm not a great fool, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of you. But you must have known I was not a great fool. You would have counted on it, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of me.
While that might sound harrowing, Vizzini makes it quite entertaining. Not because he's particularly smart or funny, but because he so earnestly thinks that he is both of those things. He's a textbook narcissist who finds it inconceivable that anyone could ever best him.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable.
That's big main character energy. Number 5, Scar, the Lion King. When it comes to Disney villains, we all have our favourites. Indisputably, one of the best and most nefarious is Scar from The Lion King.
Hey, Uncle Scar, when I'm king, what'll that make you?
A monkey's uncle.
You're so weird.
You have no idea.
We think one of the things that makes him so deliciously evil is his selfish streak, which is also what gives him his main character energy. Scar has always longed for Mufasa's throne, and all the power that comes with it.
Decades of denial is simply why I'll be king undisputed, respected, saluted, and seen for the wonder I am.
His main character syndrome has consumed him so badly that he's willing to kill his own brother to get what he wants.
Long live the king.
If that's not a textbook narcissist, we don't know what is. Number 4, Mark Zuckerberg, The Social Network. A true-to-life main character. The Social Network is based on Mark Zuckerberg and the rise of Facebook.
You have part of my attention, you have the minimum amount. The rest of my attention is back at the offices of Facebook, where my colleagues and I are doing things that no one in this room, including and especially your clients, are intellectually or creatively capable of doing.
For this entry, however, we'll be focusing on the fictional Zuckerberg, not the real one. In the film, he does quite a few main character-esque things. He insults his girlfriend's intelligence, screws his business partner over, and creates a website dedicated to comparing women because he is angry at, you guessed it, a woman.
You don't want to read it.
Ooh, Latina. Erica. Is this yours?
Yet, despite all of the terrible behaviours that he exhibits, he still has a streak of melancholy to him. At the end of the movie, he sits there refreshing the page, waiting to see if someone accepts his friend request. It's main character syndrome at its worst.
Appreciate your help today.
You're not an asshole, Mark. You're just trying so hard to be.
Number 3, Loki, Thor and the Avengers. Honestly, maybe Loki should be the main character of the Avengers movies. If the Loki series taught us anything, it's that he's definitely interesting enough.
It's the cruel, elaborate trick conjured by the weak to inspire fear.
The desperate play for control. You do know yourself.
In the early Thor and Avengers films, his jealousy and feelings of inadequacy cause him to try and insert himself as the main character in various ways.
I never wanted the throne. I only ever wanted to be your equal. I will not fight you, brother! I'm not your brother. I never was.
Most of those involve taking over the world or trying to prove himself better than his brother Thor. Envy is a big part of what makes main character energy so potent, and that paired with Loki's selfish charm make him the perfect candidate.
The humans slaughter each other in droves while you idly fret.
I mean to rule them.
That's why should I not? You think yourself above them?
Oh, yes.
Number 2, Miranda Priestley. The Devil Wears Prada. Sometimes someone is so magnetic, they barely have to speak to command a room.
Details of your incompetence do not interest me. Tell Simone I'm not going to prove that girl that she sent me for the Brazilian layout. I asked for clean, athletic, smiling. She sent me dirty, tired, and paunchy.
Miranda Priestley certainly fits that description, but she's even more interesting than that. Her main character syndrome doesn't just come from her mysterious allure, but her cutthroat nature and willingness to do anything to get to the top.
I need 10 or 15 skirts from Calvin Klein.
Okay, what kind of skirts do you...
Please bore someone else with your questions.
Miranda has learned to put herself first. It's what allows her to so easily ask the impossible of others. For real, how does she expect Andy to get an early copy of the new Harry Potter book?
We have all the published Harry Potter books. Twins want to know what happens next.
You want the unpublished manuscript?
Well, we know everyone in publishing. It shouldn't be a problem, should it?
Somehow, Andy does. But that's setting someone else up to fail if we've ever seen it. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Steve Stifler, American Pie franchise. He's not as hot as he thinks he is.
I wouldn't go telling stories or anything about you. I promise. So just relax. Take it slow. And let the good times roll.
Roxy Hart, Chicago. The name on everybody's lips is gonna be Roxy.
All this publicity got me a world full of yes!
The name on everybody's lips is gonna be Roxy.
Gretchen Wieners, Mean Girls. Her father, the inventor of toaster strudel, will be very happy to hear about this.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
Melvin Udall, As Good as It Gets. The meanest main character.
Coffee with cream and sweetener.
You're gonna die soon with that diet, you know that.
Well, we're all gonna die soon. I will, you will, and it sure sounds like your son will.
Lord Voldemort, Harry Potter franchise. Being bested by a child wasn't good for his ego.
You see, when dear sweet Lily Potter gave her life for her only son, she provided the ultimate protection. I could not touch him. It was old magic, something I should have foreseen.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Mavis Gary, Young Adult. Arguably, no one is more precious about their time than a writer on deadline. But in Young Adult, Mavis Gary is quite precious about a lot of things, including how important she must be to the people left in her hometown.
An author.
Children's books.
YA. That's industry speak for young adult. It's a very popular teen series. It's everywhere. It's huge. You've probably seen it.
In the film, Mavis decides to return home to try and win back her high school sweetheart. He's married with a child, but that's not gonna stop her.
And I'm here to get him back.
Buddy Slade? All right. I'm pretty sure he's married with a kid on the way.
No, kid's here. She already had it. I'm cool with it. I mean, I've got baggage too.
She's so obsessed with her own narrative, she doesn't even entertain the idea that her ex might not want her back. That's what happens when you can't get over yourself.
It's obvious you're having some mental sickness, some depression. You're very lonely and confused. So Beth made me invite you here, even though I knew it was a mistake.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.